I'm going to start with a fuck you and then a thank you. First off, fuck you, Disney. Why'd you have to cancel the Clone Wars? This is such an awesome arc. It's so fucking cool. But at the same time, thank you, Dave Filoni. Thank you for, despite the show being canceled, to continue to be so open about the stories that were planned. From releasing sketches of planned arcs, from releasing the Darth Maul comic, to the upcoming Ventress novel, and now we have the Utapau arc. This is an arc that was in production when the show was canceled. It was in the process of being animated, but unfortunately it wasn't far enough along. But unfortunately it wasn't finished. But Filoni, seeing as how he had this arc sitting there, he figured, let's not let it sit there. Let's actually, put it out there, despite it being canceled. And I am here to vlog about it. And I'm going to be vlogging about these episodes separately. I'm going to be doing over several days to make it more episodic. So, with all that said and done, let's get into this vlog. This is The Death on Utapau. This is an episode from the Unfinished Arc, which we actually saw a couple of years back. Filoni did a panel on storytelling at a Star Wars Celebration. I'll have a link to it in the description below, but at one point, Filoni does show a clip of unfinished animation from upcoming arc, and this was it. Anyway, Death on Utapau. In this arc, Anakin and Obi-Wan go to Utapau to investigate the death of a Jedi whose name escapes me at the moment. And while investigating the death, they find out that there's a very strong possibility the Separatists have a presence on here, and they're making some alliance with some of the people on Utapau. And Utapau's a neutral system, so this is an interesting tidbit. And also they've learned that General Grievous could have a major hand in it. And did Grievous appear in this episode? Because his name was in the credits, but I didn't see him, but oh well. So yeah, that was interesting. And despite the fact that this was unfinished, it was still really good. Like, first off, I do really like the kind of story they're telling. It's a crime drama mystery. We don't really see a lot of those on the Clone Wars, and it's interesting to see it. And it's also cool just to have a fun filler adventure episode of Anakin and Obi-Wan. I mean, it doesn't really feel like it's going to do much to further the overall story of Clone Wars, but it's just still fun. Like, filler can be fun, and especially considering Anakin's going to turn to the dark side at some point, we do sort of need to see, like, some reminiscent of the good times they're having, some bit of their friendship, and this arc does do a fair amount to show that. I mean, I do really like a lot of the interactions between Anakin and Obi-Wan, and I think a lot of that's why they chose to release this footage as opposed to a novel, because you had the animation, you had all the dialogue recorded, so why not release it, especially considering James Arnold Taylor and Matt Latner do a wonderful job here. I mean, there's some really great banter between them. In fact, I think that might be the highlight, just seeing these two interact with each other. Like, I really like when they're, like, fighting the droids, and Obi-Wan's like, Anakin, we need to dismantle them. It's like, right, and then he force pushes, like, oops, I broke it. Like, that's funny. I mean, it's like, they find a way to keep Anakin being a bit of aggressive and jerky, kind of like he is in Revenge of the Sith, but he's likable, and you can see their friendship and their relationship. And the show's been doing a good job of showing up, but this, I think, might be one of the best uses of it, because we haven't really seen an Anakin and Obi-Wan arc on the show, and we would have seen it if Disney hadn't canceled the show. But yeah, it was really nice. And I also really like the mystery. It's like really engaging and suspenseful. So, I'm really curious where they're going with this arc. Like, it's a great episode, even though it's just filler. But it's so much fun. And despite the fact that the animation is unfinished, this is still really good. I mean, like, it still looks pretty nice. I mean, I'm going to assume it would look breathtaking. Like, especially the flying sequences where they're flying on the birds and the new creatures. I'm sure all that would have looked great. Also, Anakin has seems like he has a new look. I don't know if this was for Season 6 or 7. They don't say. I'm going to assume Season 7, since it would feel really weird just to change Anakin's look partway into... I don't know. I mean, unless we get a confirmation, I'm going to assume... I don't know. Yeah. It's either Season 6 or 7. I don't know which. But yeah, nice change in look. It looks like he was going to more or less look the way he did in Episode 7. I mean, not Episode 7, Episode 3. I am surprised, though, that the animation wasn't forever long, because we saw this animation like a couple of years ago, and I feel like they would have made a bit more progress on it since then. But again, it's still really good, especially the action. Like, I was really surprised how the action scenes were, for the most part, pretty good, even though they were unfinished. Like when they're fighting the droids and the chase, it looked really good. And I am ashamed that it's not finished, because it probably would have looked fucking amazing. Like when it was done, like the show's come really far with the action and lighting and everything, and it would have looked amazing, but it still looks great regardless. And I appreciate how they put in the music. Like, music is the last thing they put in Clone Wars, and I appreciate the fact that Kevin Kleiner took the time to record the music for this episode. It sounds really nice and really helps to immerse you in the episode in a way that if they had just released this with dialogue, it wouldn't have worked as well. So yeah, and it's funny. I've always thought to myself, wondered if they had plans to do a Utapau arc, and here they did one. So let's see. Do I have anything else I need to say? Just if they're establishing that Grievous is a presence on Utapau, it's weird, because don't they learn that in Revenge of the Sith? Again, I'm sure they'll explain it, but we'll have to wait and see. I mean, although this could be the arc that sort of explains how Grievous finds his lair on Utapau, but whatever. So yeah, this was a really good episode. It's really glad we got this story. I mean, thank you so much, Dave Filoni, for releasing this. It's a really nice way to... I really appreciate that despite the fact that the show is canceled, Filoni's doing everything he can to get the rest of the stories out there. And it does bum... I mean, while I am bummed the show is canceled, I'm glad we're still getting more stories. I'm glad we're going to continue to get more stories, and I really hope that Filoni releases more arcs like this at some point, and hopefully someday someone will finish the animation. Like, hopefully... Because, sometimes... Because you know how films are reconstructed, like old movies? I really hope, like, 20 years from now, someone, like, who's a professional animator, like, takes this unfinished animation and just completes it. Because, yeah, I really would like to see this finished anime. But it's still great to get it, regardless. So, I'm gonna... And I also like how they're spacing out their content. Like, they aren't releasing all the unfinished stuff at once. They're spacing it out to, keep the Clone Wars going. And, again, I know Episode 7's coming out. I know that a lot of fans... I know Disney wants to focus on that, but I really hope that we continue to get more Clone Wars stuff. And I'm kind of done talking about the episodes, so you can just stop right here if you want, but there was a Boba Fett arc that was pretty far into production for Season 6. I wonder if we're going to get that at some point. I feel like we will. If we're getting this, I feel like we will get it. I would like to see, especially if it was much farther along. So yeah, I don't have anything else to say. I'm going to watch these episodes over the course of several days to make it more episodic. Plus, I have class tomorrow, so I don't have time to sit down and watch them all. But yeah, this was a really, really good episode. Yeah, I'm probably going to be delayed on doing the rest of my top 12 Clone Wars episodes because I'm watching this. So yeah, nothing else to say. Really good episode. Can't wait to see what's going on. I'm bummed the show's canceled, but I'm glad Filoni took the time to reveal this. And until next time, this is JStar260, and may the Force be with you.